The hobby of collecting is dead and it kind of sucks. What used to be fun and expressive is now monetized and overdone. Today, it's not about what you love. It's about how rare it is, how expensive it looks, and how many likes you can pull on TikTok. Every hobby now has an entrance fee. You can't just like sneakers. You have to have the drop alerts on anytime there's a restock and a spreadsheet for reselling. You can't just collect Pokemon cards. You need to live stream your pulls and understand the PSA grading system. Collecting was supposed to be joyful, now it feels like it's just performance art. It feels like you're chasing something that used to come naturally. It used to be personal and now it's public for the entire internet to see. The dopamine you used to feel over that hunt for the grail in your collection has now been replaced with anxiety over scarcity. And whenever you get that collectible in your hands, it doesn't feel that satisfying. It feels like collecting isn't about passion anymore. So how did we get here? First is the blind box culture and gamification of hobbies. Blind boxes are essentially legal gambling wrapped in cute little packages you can open. With the rise of Labubu, Popmark, the company who owns it, their whole model is to sell you disappointment until you get lucky. Labubus aren't just collectibles, they're essentially slot machines for kids. Every time you open a blind box, there's a small chance you get the item that you're actually wanting to hit. You rarely get what you actually want, which leads you to keep buying. And the whole model of the blind boxes is to make people become a repeat consumer. There are all these different rarity tiers that essentially gamify the whole system. Collecting becomes a loot grind. You spend $100 trying to get that $25 figure, unless on the off chance you're able to pull a rare. The idea of the chase replaces the value of the item. Resellers know this and they exploit this. This allows them to sell tens or even hundreds of these blind boxes because they know people are going to keep buying until they actually hit that rare item. And the limited sets that get listed online or even in person in some of those vending machines, they all get bought out and relisted on eBay in a matter of hours. Even if you want just one specific figure, you're forced to play the entire slot machine ecosystem. You are not hunting collectibles, you're just gambling and playing the machine. Collecting has been gamified and not in a fun way, which leads on to the manufactured scarcity and artificial demand. Think about the crazy amount of consumerism that we've seen within the last year. Stanley Cups, Labubus, Pokemon cards, limited Jordans. It is not an accident that they cost so much money and instantly sell out. These are all strategic design choices made by these companies. That scarcity and sense of FOMO drives urgency, and the urgency drives more conversions into customers. These companies could easily mass produce all of these products, but they choose not to. The reason why is because FOMO sells better. Everyone wants what they can't have. The marketing stimulates the exclusivity of these products. I mean, think about every time the Pokemon company comes out with new expansion boxes. We see the massive lines of people, we see people fighting over the cards, and even though the company says that they're trying to produce more of the cards, why is it that it seems like no one can actually just walk into a store and be able to buy the cards? Pokemon could easily wait a few more months until they could print more cards to satisfy that demand. But the big reason for this is because of the internet and in general just social media like TikTok. It accelerates the demand faster than the supply can keep up with. The moment a TikTok goes viral or becomes a trend, the products seem to be gone. Look at all of the hype that we've been seeing with the Dubai chocolate bars. They are mad expensive and they're just because of TikTok trends. With such a limited demand of all of these different products, you're not really just shopping anymore, you're more so fighting to be able to have a chance to buy these products. And whenever you add bots and scalpers to the mix, it just becomes an all-out war zone. Collecting feels like it's less about taste and more about social capital. If you bought an item and didn't post about it, did it ever even happen? The TikTok algorithm loves a collection video, and the Instagram algorithm loves hauls. It seems like your collection isn't even for you anymore, it's for your followers. And even for people who don't post about their things online, they're still being affected by this. Hobbyists used to hide their obsessions, but now they monetize them. And with the whole rarity game, it's essentially, I'm cool because I own this thing and you don't. The product becomes their whole identity. Even the most niche collecting things are being infiltrated by this. It's all about the image of collecting and not the actual enjoyment. It's no longer about expressing passions for things that you truly enjoy. It's now turned into curated aesthetics. It's like if you collect sneakers, you better have that pair of off-whites. And if you collect cards, you better have some PSA 10 graded cards. Every interest has now become a hashtag and every niche has become a funnel to be monetized. And it seems like every month that there's like a new thing to collect. These trends move way too fast to be able to actually collect and enjoy this passion or hobby. The hobby and collecting lifestyle is like 3 weeks max. And since the trend of collectibles just continuously cycles, burnout just becomes inevitable for the average person. You can't keep up with all of the hobby hopping. And the issue with this is that people aren't getting into hobbies and collecting, they're getting into trends. The surface level interest of all of these people coming into the hobby space is ruining the genuine love and passion for collecting. Nothing gets time to breathe, and all of the people who are off the internet have to deal with this problem too. Before you have the chance to gain an actual interest in these hobbies, it's already over. It goes on to the next trend, the next haul, and the next dopamine hit. Other than Labubus, it seems like Pokemon has really taken a hit from all of these new people coming into the hobby. The fun of Pokemon used to come from trading cards at a lunch table, not about scalping them and trying to take them from kids. It seems like a lot of this resurgence has came from multiple things, including Logan Paul kind of bringing back the hobby, as well as an app like Pokemon Go becoming popular. And then again this last year with the new Pokemon TCG app coming out. Everyone has had their chance to kind of get into it without having to buy the actual cards. The average person can now just go on their phone and open packs or catch Pokemon without having to actually invest in the hobby. And this has brought a lot of new fans to see what the hype is all about. But the issue is the hobby of Pokemon cards has been ruined because of all of these people flipping and reselling them. It used to be about just playing and trading, but now packs are getting completely bought out from every store. The average fan gets priced out, and the kids, who the hobby was meant for, they get completely shut out. Even if a kid really wants to get into Pokemon for the first time, no parent is going to drop over $100 for an ETB that has 6 packs of cards in it. Pokemon cards have now become stock. People are hoarding them in their rooms for years until that they're able to sell them later at a way higher price. No one cares about the common cards anymore or the actual artwork. The only thing that matters is the rarity. And even for the average person, if you love cards and you've been into the hobby, it's hard not to see the dollar signs. If you're able to score an extra ETB, it's hard not to want to flip it. And really similar to the blind boxes like a lot of these toy companies are doing, pulling a rare Pokemon card feels like gambling. You no longer celebrate the art, you Google the value of it. Even though a card is already extremely rare and valued really high, people want to make sure they submit that card for grading and make sure it's the most pristine condition to get that PSA 10. It's just value over joy at this point. And with sneakers and streetwear, it feels like most collectors have almost turned it into a status thing as well. The whole culture of sneakerheads was built on the passion of enjoying the designs, history behind the shoes, and just self-expression. But it's now driven by bots and the whole drop culture of trying to get those rare and limited shoes. And collecting is now more of like a lottery system to be able to hit on that rare and limited sneaker that you really want. The rare and limited drops turn into investment opportunities, and anytime someone hits a rare pair of shoes, they go in that glass case, not on the pavement for what they're actually meant for. I still love sneakers and streetwear, but I feel like a big problem behind all of this is just the scarcity, clout, and resale that has really just driven the hobby into the ground. And if we're talking about collecting, we have to talk about video games. The crazy thing in recent years that I've been seeing with video games is that all of the old video games are becoming higher in value and almost being treated as assets. And this is kind of leading for retro video game collecting to become unsustainable. Some of the GameCube and Game Boy titles cost more than a brand new gen game. And the sad part about video games is it seems like physical media in general is disappearing. A lot of the games that we loved growing up are now locked behind paywalls and emulators. A lot of companies are pushing for digital games because it's easier for them to distribute, which makes it harder for a lot of collectors who really want to get the games. And for the people who really love the old school retro games, the last option that they have is to pay like $120 for a scratched up disc. And it's no longer about playing the games, it's about owning them and displaying them in your collection. The hunt for these items used to be fun, and now it's just financially scary to get into. If collecting retro video games is your hobby, you better start budgeting. Once again, it all comes back to the value of these things. Before we wrap up this part of the video, there's something important I want to talk to you guys about. I've joined hashtag Team Water, a global campaign led by Mr. Beast and Mark Rober, aimed at tackling the clean water crisis. I'm wearing the Team Water hoodie right now because I'm contributing to the mission personally, and I'm also sharing on here to help spread the word. The goal for the campaign is simple: raise $40 million over the course of August to help bring clean, lasting water to over 2 million people around the world. It's a big collaboration with a lot of creators getting in on this from around the world as well. And it's focused on working with local communities to build sustainable water solutions, not just short-term fixes. And for perspective, just $1 provides someone clean water for an entire year. And $20 can give them clean water for decades. If you want to be part of something that genuinely makes a difference, hit the link in my bio to learn more or make a donation. I'm going to be contributing as well, and even small donations go a really long way. All right, back to the video. And I feel like the saddest part for me is it's just ruined the whole sense of community. I feel like some people have just gotten into hobbies or collecting as a whole, not because they love the actual thing, but because there's money to be made. And that whole thing is just kind of turned hobby into like a second job. And I mean, scalping and reselling has kind of always been a thing for a long time. I mean, even look as far back as Beanie Babies. I feel like anytime you want to reference these things to older people, you have to bring those up. And then we could even talk about like silly bands and fidget spinners. I remember back in the time, fidget spinners were so hard to get. Like a lot of these stores were selling them for like $20, $30, or even like $50 for a little plastic thing that you would mess with. And so collecting and just scalping in general has kind of always been a thing, but it has become especially apparent with the internet and pushing out a lot of the niche things to a wider audience. No hobby and collection is safe anymore. If there's profit to be made, I guarantee you your hobby is going to be overrun with this as well in the coming months. And the whole thing is to prevent this, just stop buying from all the scalpers. Make them lose all of the profit that they have. I mean, look at the recent years that we've seen with sneaker collecting. It's kind of died out a little bit, especially for more of the general release sneakers. And it's still apparent. I mean, the whole game is kind of based around the value of shoes. But because these companies pushed out so much more stock and the demand didn't really keep up, a lot of collectors have been able to actually get the shoes that they really want. And if all companies followed this model and just produced more of the items that people want, I feel like it would almost be a win-win for everybody. You would remove the people who are not genuinely interested in these products. More of the casual fans would have a chance to actually get the items they want. And then all the scalping is gone, which means that there's no more problems when it comes to production. And since that's not happening, it seems like a lot of these companies are almost taking like a strategic move to limit the amount of product that they're pushing onto their customers. The only thing that we can do to really combat that is just stop buying things on the resale market. Scalpers and resellers will lose all their money and no longer be incentivized to keep buying up all the stock. And it feels like there's no specific solution for all of this, especially because there's so many hobbies and collecting in general is just being affected by this. It's become just a cesspool of people getting into things for the money. The sad part is it's not even about the stuff anymore. It's about the status, the display, and the clout. And yeah, sometimes I fall for it too. I also get excited over a rare pull or sometimes even chase after an item because I saw it online. But if we want to salvage collecting, and I'm not talking about the market or the industry, I'm talking about the hobby itself, then we have to start defining it for ourselves again. The best parts about collecting were never about flipping things for 3 times the price or flexing a complete set of whatever you're collecting to strangers on the internet. It was about finding something you're passionate about, whether that was a weird old shirt in the back of a thrift bin, or maybe even something as simple as getting handed an old dusty box from a relative full of toys. And one of the things that I love about collecting is the stories behind them. Maybe we don't need the excessive consumerism with the display boxes and the shelving everywhere. Maybe what we really need is fewer items and better stories to go with them. Because when everything feels collectible, it feels like nothing is really collected. At the end of the day, maybe it's okay to like something without feeling the need to complete it, profit off it, or turn it into content. But let me know what you guys think. Do you feel like collecting has just taken a sad turn in recent years, or is it just me? And if you like content like this, feel free to check out some of the other videos on my channel similar to this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.